Kelsey Cook is a professional comic. Hello.
Hi, guys.
And Jay is also a professional stand-up comic.
Well, professional.
I mean,
Loosely.
we're using the term loosely.
Yeah.
But we want to go ahead and ask them or us, or ask comics.
Makes me so happy. What's up, Kels?
Call my fans the Kevettes.
You know what sucks is I'll never hear the end of this. Jay, I'm Kels. They call me Kels.
The artist formerly known as Kelsey Cook.
You call me Kels, and I'm like...
Oh, nice.
Oh, my God. Tell me a joke.
Well, no, we're not going to do that.
They said just kidding, but that is
good. So somebody said most uncomfortable time on stage. I'm tweeting this out, so you guys answer, then I'll answer mine.
Go ahead, Kelsey.
God. That's a good question.
I had a really uncomfortable time on stage this past Wednesday.
Oh, really?
Really?
I was doing the El Rey. I was doing a big show on the El Rey, and it was the audience was in a horseshoe shape, and it was standing room only. My first time doing stand up where there was no seats.
Okay.
And the audience was in a horseshoe, and the mic was cutting out like at the opening part of my set. First 2 minutes, it was like one time during the setup, another time during the punch, and then it completely cut out. And then I had to yell my jokes to the stage, and then the guy behind me, behind the curtain, started sound checking the mic.
While I was doing my set.
Oh, God.
And this was taping for a reality show.
Oh, no.
And I was just like, they're going to make me look like I've never done stand-up comedy in my life before.
So they really captured your set.
What about you guys?
Some of the first stand-up I ever did was when I was in college. Kelsey was a good sport. Thanks, you guys. It was in college at a cafeteria. They used to have open mics in a college cafeteria, and that's like where I started. And that's never a good situation. Like if a place is not set up for comedy specifically, if they just like pop a mic somewhere,
just do it anyway.
If anybody's surprised by your comedy show, that's never a good situation.
That's how I was on Wednesday too. I mean, they knew it was a concert. Yeah. They just did 30 minutes of comedy before.
Yeah, if kids are going through a cafeteria line and there's like clanking silverware, and you're just like, "Hey, kids," it's like never.
You know how many times I've had to do we've gotten invited to do it at like a banquet. You can't do comedy while people are eating.
No, they have food in their mouth. So even if they like a joke, all you hear is.
Or or when the check drops, you're the headliner, and you're like going into your last 10 minutes, and then the wait staff will come with the checks, and then people. Like this if you guys were the comic and I'm the customer, this is what you see. Oh, the check? Oh, okay. So what do you want? How much is this?
I didn't order that.
I don't really tip.
Excuse me.
I'm black. I don't tip.
I'm black. I don't tip.
My worst bombing was I had just done the Bay Area Black Comedy Competition where I was a finalist somehow. And I came back I was doing a show in Bellevue, Washington, and I was doing pretty much the same jokes that had just done great in Oakland. And I don't know if this is because it was an older crowd or what, but I was doing a joke about interracial dating, and you know this joke.
Yes.
Yeah, and I said if you've never dated interracially, you should, because you'll get that person's best. I said I went out with a Puerto Rican girl. She's never said she'd been with a white guy, so now I'm like, great. Now I feel like I have all of Ireland on my back that I have to represent for. That all did fine. Then I said the line, and I'll try and clean it up. I said basically to her, like I'm like the Jackie Robinson of. You know, I'm breaking color barriers, which they didn't like that. But then I said I feel like all these white guys are looking up to me like, come on, man, if you do good, we may all get in there. And they didn't like that. And then I said I was worried there was going to be a tattoo above her yoo-hoo that just said, no whites allowed, go around back, which they really didn't like. So, and again, these jokes had done great in Oakland, but this was an older crowd, and I think because the movie Jackie Robinson had just come, or 42, about Jackie Robinson had just come out, that they did not like it. So I said on stage, I said I did not care. Like I said it a little rougher. I was annoyed that they were like, ugh. And so I finished my set. The headliner, Leslie Jones, who's on Saturday Night Live, amazing comic.
Les.
Yeah, Big Les. She, in the green room, she's like, what happened? I was like, I don't know, Les. So Les went out, and this is why I love Leslie Jones, and I think she's an amazing comic. Her first 10 minutes, she destroyed the audience. She's like, oh, did Jay offend you, you sensitive MFers? And like, spent 10 minutes just drilling them.
Really?
And then, yeah, but that was probably my worst. Yeah.
Somebody just asked if I ever worked the latex allergy into my
act.
and I don't think I could talk about it.
You can't. Yeah, she has a crazy story about it. Do you have it online?
I don't know. I told the recent one, like the new little incident that happened at the doctor's office on Jay's podcast. If you are subscribed to the Hollingsworthless podcast, Jay had me on like a month or so ago, and I did tell a recent incident with the latex allergy. But I do talk about it on stage. I just can't tell it.
Yeah, it's a little too dirty.
Not appropriate.
Okay, what do you guys think about Instagram comedians?
No good.
No.
I think, okay, I'll put it this is my opinion.
No good.
I think they're great for what they do. Stay in your lane.
Stay in your lane.
And that's not to say they couldn't be great stand-up comics, but what happens is, this is what happens is...
I do Instagram comedy.
Oh.
I know, but you also do, you're a stand-up.
Pauline's Worthless podcast.
Pauline's Worthless, yeah.
That's Jay's last name, Pauline.
So this is what I mean by that. Like those, but you were a stand-up first.
Yeah.
And those Instagram or YouTube or Vine stars, they could become great comics, but what happens is, and it's not necessarily their fault, it's just how Hollywood works. Is somebody has, let's say, like I did a show with a guy, there was a guy hosting Comedy Juice, is one of the hottest shows in LA. I had never seen this guy ever at an open mic. I was with Mo Mandel, and we were like, this guy is awful. He's ruining the show. We find out after the show he has a huge following on Instagram, or Vine or something. So he has like a manager, and then that manager got him on shows because he has followers, but he doesn't know stand-up. Like, I think it's just a matter of respecting the craft of stand-up. You know, it'd be like, I'll put it this way. It'd be like me, I'm great at karaoke, or I think I am, and then I go and then all of a sudden I'm in a concert performing for people my own original songs.
Right.
With people like, I don't know, what is this? You know?
Right. Yeah,
it's again, they could become great, amazing comics, but but a lot of them don't put in the work. Like they have their followers from Instagram or Vine, and then they just go, okay, well, I'll go try and stand up. I'm not saying his name. Just, you know, I won't do that. But
tell me after this.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, Patrice O'Neal's, other than myself, Patrice O'Neal's my all-time favorite comic.
Oh, I love that. I love Patrice O'Neal. What's a negative thing about being...
Other than yourself?
Yeah.
You're your favorite comic.
If you are not your favorite comic, change your act as a comedian.
I know. You've told me that before.
Okay, Jay, you're old.
Of course I have to.
What's a negative thing about being funny?
Big Irish J, not white Irish J. Sorry. What is your favorite thing about what?
Negative thing about. What's a negative thing about being funny?
You want to start?
When people expect you to be funny all the time, like sometimes I just wake up, I'm not like into joking, but I'm just waking up like you. I'm not on stage all the time. I'm funny most of the time, but when you're just like, be funny, man, dance, monkey, dance. I'm like, hey, man, you don't expect LeBron James to just be carrying a basketball around all the time. He's just, you know what I mean? Like, so that's my thing.
I think accidentally offending people sometimes, or like forgetting. Kane kind of talks about it on stage, but if you're around comics all the time, then you kind of get used to a certain sensibility that like you can roast each other a lot and joke about things. And like when I was still in kind of day job office environment, sometimes I would forget that, and I don't know. It can be easy to be seen as like, oh, maybe maybe they didn't see that was a joke or whatever. So.
Or people may say something that you didn't mean as a joke. They're like, oh, like this girl at my job this other day, this happened. She, I was complimenting her outfit. And she was like, oh, I said, you look like you work at Wet Seal, like you got that from Wet Seal. Oh. And she was like, thank you. And I wasn't being mean. And then everybody's like, oh, Wet Seal. And I was like, no, it wasn't me. It looked like Wet Seal clothes. No. I was like, is Wet Seal a bad thing?
If somebody told me I looked like I worked at Wet Seal, I would not take that as a compliment.
I agree. I'm kind of along, I'd say two things. One about Kelsey, like when you get into comedy and you're around comics all the time, it's a blessing and also like a curse, because the blessing is like when we're all around each other, we can pretty much say anything. None of us will get offended, and we can talk about. I mean, being a comic and around comics, it's one of the most real conversations you can have about anything. Like just like you saw, like everybody destroyed Kelsey about her butt, but she's still laughing, and like
she's still standing. She's still strong.
As comics, as comics, we're very self-aware. Like we know our good and to be a good comic, you got to know your good and bad points. I also think one of the bad things about or negative parts about being a comic is if you're like dating, can be really tough. Like Kelsey's fortunate; she's in a relationship with another comic, and Kev, you've been with your girl since the beginning.
Before I started comedy.
Like date nights are usually Friday and Saturday night. Usually we're at shows. You're on the road a lot, and it's like it's hard for a lot of people to understand that like comedy's like your first thing. So
yeah. Somebody said I need to Ask a Black Woman.
For me,
I want my audience to learn something about the culture they don't know. If you guys are all black, y'all just gonna be talking to my wife like, "So Liz, girl, what you think?" Okay, what's one of your or have you ever had to lay into a heckler?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Remember that guy trying to fight you on stage?
Oh yeah, I had a guy try and rush the stage, and but yeah, like when I first started in comedy, I was like, if you get a heckler, there's different types of hecklers too. Like that's what I have to understand. There's the guy that maybe he's just like, I call him like the court stenographer, and what I mean by that is like you'll say a punchline and then he repeats it every time, like, "Oh man, that's so true," or he's like, "Yeah," that, and you're like. And it can mess up your rhythm, like
they're not malicious. They're just trying to like show that they're loving it, but it ruins it. Yeah,
so you got to like figure out how you want to address it. Like I had these 4 drunk white girls in the front row of this one show I did at the Ice House, and like I was watching all the other comics going up who didn't have a lot of time and they couldn't address it, and I was headlining, so I had more time. Mm-hmm. So I was like, if they say one word, I'm going to destroy them. So I can't repeat a lot of the stuff I said, but I like right when I go up, the girl's on her phone, and so I'm like, here she goes, and so I went into him for about 7 minutes till he got up and left. Wow. But I always feel like I'm the policeman, like I gotta, it's just respectful, like.
Right. Somebody just asked what a heckler is.
A heckler is somebody who either purposely or because they've been drinking is talking while you're doing your set and trying to ruin the...
Yeah, here we go. Answer the question, and then me and Kelsey will be hecklers.
So a heckler is a person that is trying to...
I don't really like this guy.
Destroy your...
The other guy was funnier.
Are blinding me.
Okay! Yeah. My worst experience, I talked about this the other day, I was very early in comedy, and I didn't know how to deal with hecklers, and there was this old black lady, and she was like, get him off the stage. And I was like, that's why you look like a dead wolf. You look like my dead grandmother. And I was like...
A dead wolf?
Dead wolf. And I just was like, there was no softening blow. Right. I was just like...
I did that too. There's something about early on where you don't know how to...
Do it like comedy.
And you just go so hard.
So he's like, wow, Kev.
I know. Because I took it personal. Like, this is my first time in LA, and she was like ruining. Yeah. Like, I dreamed of this moment.
Yeah.
And it was like a really small room, so it wasn't like there's 30. It was like 30 people in there. Yeah. But still, my sister-in-law was there, and I'm getting heckled. I took it really personal.
Yeah, that's the thing is people have to understand like we don't want hecklers. Like and
no, you're not adding.
Yeah.
Oh, you're not adding that.
It's like it's not like here's one of my good heckling things that I've been saying. It's like I don't go to McDonald's and tell you have to do fries. I don't like it.
Right.
It's
really yeah.
My favorite was there was a guy in Parlor in Bellevue. And in the front row, like as comics, like again, there's nothing you won't hurt a comic. There's nothing you're gonna say to hurt my feelings. And I have a mic, so you're already gonna lose in that. So there's a guy in the front row that was just talking like I'm here like this, and he's talking. It's turned sideways like this. I'm up here, and he's just talking to his buddy. So I just started, as I'm talking to the audience, I'm like, this guy has no idea I'm talking about him. Blah blah blah. He finally realized I'm talking about him, and he turns and goes, "Just tell your stupid jokes, you fat." Right?
Oh my God.
Which I laughed at. And here's the thing is like we as comics we can assess somebody immediately.
Yeah.
Now this guy was not bald. It was like just starting.
Right.
And so I said
it's like RoboCop. You're like
targets,
little bit fat, dumb shirt.
So I just said to him, he goes, yeah, just tell your jokes, you fat. And I go, well, I'm fat and you're bald, so we both have things we could, things that. So here's my thing: I don't know. It's weird as comics, like we think of stuff fast and we can see like 10 steps ahead.
Yeah.
So I knew, like the first thing he said is he just looks at his buddy, he goes, "I'm not bald." They walked him out, and I said to the audience after he got kicked out, I go, here's the beauty of that, is that guy for the next 2 weeks is going to be just in the mirror going, bald? I'm not, what is he talking about? It's going to stick with him. That was my joy of it,
What about you, Kelsey?
Oh, I was just going to say, you are one of the fastest
to
be... and maybe it's like an instinct thing, because that just happened the other night at dinner, you, me, and Kane, and I found out that Kane went and saw Black Mass, and I can flip the switch, and you were like, oh, you're like, I love watching her get mean, because I can go in real hard if I want to.
That's hilarious.
I just had somebody, I was at the Brea Improv last weekend, and it was a late show, so there was a lot of people that had been drinking, and a guy...
Justin Forsett, real quick, I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Justin Forsett.
Oh, yeah. Football player, right?
Yeah, the ball.
Hey, what's up,
He said he saw you at the parlor.
Yeah, what's up, Justin?
All right, go
That's
ahead,
awesome.
Kelsey.
Go Pats.
So...
Shut up.
Sorry.
Anyway, he, like, I have a joke where I say... I don't think this is cursing. I say jokes about certain names. I say guys named Larry are always dicks. And... shut up. And, I was like, any Larrys here tonight? And this guy was like, yeah, I'm Larry. And, like, I was like, I could just tell that his name wasn't actually Larry, but that he was gonna do that just because he needed that adrenaline and that attention. And I went into him really, I mean, like, it was joking, but I, like, asked the rest of his table, I was like, oh, is he a dick? And they're like, yeah, he is. And I was like, yeah, I know, like, and even your friends don't care. Like, they'll throw you under the bus in a second. Like, nobody likes you.
Nobody likes you. If you can turn somebody's table against them,
they without hesitation, they were like, yeah, he is a dick. And he was being a dick.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Somebody said, how did me and Jay meet? We met doing stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
Me and Jay have done probably... I've done like 2 or 3 shows with Kelsey and probably, I don't know, 10 or 15 with Jay. We done... Remember we did that one in Seattle for like 11 people in downtown Seattle? There was like... Those are the worst ones. I don't mind doing stand-up for 5 people if the room looks like it's supposed to fit 5 people.
Right.
But doing stand-up for 5 people
in an arena,
it's like, dude, why do you have this?
Yeah. And then
here's the stand-up people. Always go small.
Yeah.
Just get a small room. Better to pack 100 people in a place that fits 60.
Yeah.
Than 100 people in a room that fits 10,000.
Yeah, and piggybacking off that, if you do only have 12 people in a 100-seat theater or whatever. Put them together.
And
one's over here, one's there, one's in the very back row. You're like, who seated these people?
That's how it was on Wednesday. They were all on the outsides of the room. Like, stand in the front.
Somebody asked a good question about comedy goals.
You know, it's interesting. Let's go right to left.
Yeah.
And then come back left to right.
For me, their Periscope names. What's your parent?
Big Irish J. My thing is Big Irish JAY on everything.
Mine should be Kelsey Cook Comedy.
It's whatever your Twitter name is. Whatever your Twitter name is, your Periscope.
My Twitter is at Kelsey Cook. KELSEYCOOK.
My comedy goals used to be like Kevin Hart, like to be able to just tour that much. But then I had kids, and I don't really want to travel. That's my big thing about stand up. I don't want to travel that much. Mm-hmm. And like if you're the better you are, the more you're on the road. Like most, even comics that you think aren't working that much, they're on the road like 40 weeks a year. And I have small kids, so I don't want to miss their whole life. So for me, like doing YouTube and being able to like pick and choose shows, do like once or twice a month is good. But I always wanted to translate it to doing films and television so I could stay at home. Like there's nothing more of all the things I do, like acting, YouTube, Periscope, nothing more that I like doing than stand-up comedy. Because it's the truest form. Like making somebody laugh in person, like live, is the best. And then even better is making somebody laugh who's not there to laugh. Like the people who are like, why do you come to a comedy show and try not to laugh?
Right.
Like, are you aware of what the goal is?
Like, you get thugs, they're like, man, I ain't laughing. You're like,
why are you here then?
Thugging out at a comedy show?
Yeah.
But to get that person to laugh is the win. But go ahead, Kelsey.
Yeah. Man, this probably sounds cliche to say, but Amy Schumer's career is pretty incredible, and I would love something like that, where her first love is also stand-up, like Kev said, and this is my first love, your first love. And that's what she is originally known for, but she's also, used TV as an outlet and movies, so she has Inside Amy Schumer, which is an incredible show. It just won an Emmy, and Trainwreck was so great this year. She wrote that. Oh,
she wrote that?
She wrote Trainwreck.
I didn't know that, Trainwreck.
Trainwreck, and starting it in...
That had LeBron in it, right?
Yeah, it's funny. It's really good. Anyway, so now she's at a point where she's, like, blown up so much that she's, like, selling out the Apollo.
Yeah.
Really?
Crazy, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
White woman selling out the Apollo.
Go ahead, Jason.
Let's see what roles have you auditioned for?
I'd say my comedy goals. I think.
You can answer that.
Huh? Oh, sorry. I keep reading the question. I don't know if we're supposed to. Should we answer them?
Go ahead. Somebody asked us to
forget my answer. It's cool.
We'll get to you, Jay.
That's fine.
We talk to you every Saturday.
It's all about the white girl. No, do you want to answer? Or do you want me to go?
I did. I like got a role as like the dirty hot girl for a CW thing last summer, which is I know pretty stereotypical.
Were the lines under Dirty Hot Girl?
There are lines under it?
No, like was that what it said on the script?
Dirty hot girl.
Really?
Yeah, dirty hot girl.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice.
But I've also done like news reporter or like young mom and stuff like that. So.
Okay. My comedy goals. I really like Bill Burr's career, which if you may not know him, I don't know if you don't look him up, but like he's number one. He's known as a comic. Like he's respected by fellow comics, so he's a comics comic. He's loved by audiences, and he acts, but he gets like smaller bit parts and. And it's not if
he was in Breaking Bad.
He was in Breaking Bad. He was like what, the loan shark guy, or
he was great as that. You almost didn't know he was a comic.
Well, the thing is, like, if you look at his roles, it's not like a big acting stretch for him.
Right.
You're not like, oh my god, this is. But you know, he gets bit parts here and there, and then comedy's like still his number one. I really like, and he can go out in public, and people aren't going to be like. Most people aren't going to be like, oh my god, it's Bill Burr. And, you know, so I really like Bill Burr's
comics always mention him.
Yeah, he's
we have time for one more. What made you start doing comedy? We'll go from Jay to.
I always, you know, people like a lot of comics say they got on stage for that first time and they got that first laugh and it was a big high and they were hooked ever since. I've always been able to make people laugh, my friends or family, or whatever, and people always said you should do comedy, and I've always thought about doing it. And then when I was living in Boston, I did a stand-up comedy class, and then I did an open mic or it was actually a showcase. My first show, I got paid.
Did you really?
Yeah, I didn't deserve it, but
Dang,
but for me, like comedy, for me, it's always the science behind it. Like you have an idea or a premise of a joke, and it's not working, and then you change one word, and then all of a sudden it works. So it's like figuring out the matrix.
Yeah.
That was so sweet.
Thanks, buddy.
That was beautifully said, Jay. Beautifully said, Jason. I also have always loved making friends and family laugh, but I was always scared to pursue that as a career because it's very unstable and unpredictable. And so I started college as a math major. I thought I wanted to teach high school math. That was kind of my safe version of being an entertainer. Was I thought, I'll be the cool, funny teacher. And I love math, but I got halfway through college and was in calculus 3 or something and hated life. I mean, at that point, I just was miserable. So I basically flipped 180 and went into broadcast production major, and I started going to my college's improv group, and then a bunch of them started doing open mic, and so I went, and it's pretty much that instant adrenaline rush. And then actually, you're talking about you like the puzzle of it, like the science. I think that's where a lot of my math comes in. Like I really like. It's like solving. It's like algebra. It's like figuring out. Okay, if I put this here, what is going to go here, and how does this work? And
it's like having a. This is how I explain it. I'm sorry to jump in, Kev, but it's like
Jay,
it's like thanks, appreciate it. It's like having a
white
puzzle.
man taking something from the black
man.
man.
Totally. I love that. So it's like having a puzzle that's all completed except for one piece is left. But you don't just have one piece. You have multiple pieces left for that one piece, and you have to go through them to complete that puzzle or that joke. That's how I always look at it.
You stole that all just to say that? You really thought that was something, huh?
Thank you very much. I'll be here all day.
What was the question we were answering?
I don't know. All right, that's our time.
Started doing comedy. My brother said somebody in our church didn't think I was funny, so I did it. I did stand up on basically with the urging of my brother, and then like years later, I found out the person that he said it never said anything. It was just my brother goading me into doing it because he's a terrible person.
There's been a lot of great questions. I know we got to go.
We
should save some of these. We should do it on whenever we do these because we have comics all the time. Yeah. We should do another follow-up afterwards. Ask me a comment.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, we have to go, guys. I have to go get a haircut and take my kids. Thank you guys for tuning in. This is Kelsey Cook. She's at Kelsey Cook on Twitter. And what was the other one?
Kelsey Cook Comedy.
Kelsey Cook Comedy.
Yeah. KelseyCook.com has everything.
And then Jay is Big Irish J on everything.
Big Irish J-A-Y.
Yes.
Somebody put Big Iris. It's not Iris. I'm the flower girl. Big Irish J.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye, Kels.